probably ask him, as a human being, why he chooses not to address certain issues, or his stance is like, just I want to have like a nice discussion about why he chooses to do the things he does with abortion, or maybe energy to me and his goal, like why do you want to go use coal a lot, or why do you like oil drilling in domestically or offshore drilling even. So just talk about why, and then I can get a better perspective of where he's coming from, because I don't really necessarily always know where he's coming from. I do know the evidence, but get a better background.
I guess I would ask him what he would necessarily do about like our fuel problem, and what he would do with the energy. Because he talks about alternative fuel, but I'm not really convinced that it's actually in there. I mean, at his convention, people were chanting drill now. So I would kind of talk to him about that issue. Mm-hmm. I think McCain may answer that he would, he's into new renewable energy. But in his budget, it doesn't seem like that there's a lot of money for that. So I don't know if he's changed that, or if he feels that maybe we're going to drill in Alaska anyways.
I think that I would ask McCain more about his foreign policy plans, because I don't know, him just saying that he's not willing to have diplomatic talks with like Iran and Pakistan, and that just doesn't sound like the right road to me. So I would ask more about like the logic behind that. He'd probably give me a line like, the U.S. doesn't, like, I don't know, doesn't like to negotiate or talk with people who present threats, something like that. And actually, I would probably talk to McCain about his plan for Iraq, because, I don't know, I've been a supporter of getting out of Iraq for a while now, and I don't know, him just like not having a timeline and saying that he's willing to be in there long term, like, I don't know, it doesn't sound good. It doesn't sound good for the economy, like the money that we're putting into it, and just all of that. And I don't know what he would say to that. I think that, well, he would say that we need to be in there and make sure that the job gets done, or else they won. First off, I don't really see, we're not really fighting like one enemy, like in Iraq, like we haven't declared war on one enemy that we can actually defeat. And like, I feel like we brought, like, getting Saddam Hussein out of Iraq was a good thing, but I don't think that was the time for it. I think we had kind of other stuff to do when we decided to go in there. And I feel like us having this prolonged presence there has just made it worse since we got Saddam out.
Would ask him to validate him a lot of his decisions and his stances, gay marriage, the debt, what he wants to do with that. I'd ask him why he picked Sarah Palin, just because I'm interested. She was an unknown person from Alaska, not really someone you would think that he would pick for his running mate.
I would ask McCain how he plans to cut the federal spending and still lower taxes, how that plan in the real world would come across. Well, you can always answer, I think a lot of times in presidential elections, they say a lot of things that people like to hear, but that aren't always possible. So he might, I'm not exactly sure how they go about setting how much money they spend, but I really don't know.
think I would ask McCain if he picked Palin just because Clinton was out of the race, and so he picked a woman just so he could like wrangle in some of the former Hillary voters, you know, because it seemed kind of like a cheap move. Well, I don't think it was smart of him, because it doesn't seem like very many people like Palin.
So what would he answer you, do you think? That, look.
He'd, I don't know, use political jargon and be like, Palin is this great person, and I don't know.
Okay.
He'd just be a politician, I guess.